you're just in time for a hybrid show. You know who I am. I'm John Zidar. You know where you're at. This is On Top and Hot. And this is the last weekend before Trump takes office. It's the weekend of January 17th. And I am expecting some hot market activity with Trump in office. Now, what I normally like to do is talk to you about hot penny stocks, because I'm a day trader who primarily trades stocks under $5. On the weekends, though, I've been sharing my trading insights with you, information that just gets you the most out of your trades. Well, today, I want to give you a little bit of both, a hybrid show. I did a lot of due diligence yesterday, virtually all day. Went through about 4,000 stocks, and I came up with 2 watch lists, and I want to share them both with you right now. So now that I got you right where I want you, over here at my free trading platform, Thinkorswim, I want to share a couple of watch lists with you. Yesterday, I put out a lot of effort looking at a lot of charts, creating these watch lists. I looked at over 4,000 charts, and that's not a guess, and it's not an exaggeration. I did 2 searches. Well, each search brings up a maximum of 2,000 results, and I looked at every chart from the top of the list all the way down to the bottom. So I know I looked at least 4,000 charts. The first list I was trying to put together were for hot penny stocks. So I put in a search for 001 up to $5. That got me 2,000 results out of tens of thousands of stocks. Looked at every single chart, which isn't all that hard, folks. When I look at a chart, all I'm doing is glancing at it. That's about how long it takes me to look at each chart, because I don't see what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a shape. What shape am I looking for? Well, I gave it a name of the atypical breakout. That is it, right there. It's a very easy pattern to recognize. Everything is falling downhill with that big red line on the top. Your MA is coming down like a ski slope. Everything is up underneath it. When the 200-day MA starts to go flat, this is when you have your breakout attempts. And these are the signals we look for to see the breakout occurring now. We want the 200-day MA to be flat. We want the price underneath the 200, either on top of the 50 or pushing away from the 50. And at the very bottom, you want your 200 haul, H-U-L-L. The price really responds to the 200 haul quickly. I have my 200 haul in 2 colors, 1 color for when it's falling, 1 color for when it's rising. You can see as soon as she started rising here, folks, the price jumped immediately. We had these little tiny bars basically going sideways. Soon as it turned blue, our bars got big, bigger, and very big. Broke through the 200 and is floating on the 9-day. That is what I call a perfect atypical breakout chart, and I've got 30 of them over here. Well, I couldn't share all 30 stocks with you. And not all 30 have catalysts, and that's what I do. Once I find a stock that has heat, this is the fire. I need fuel for my fire. So I go looking through the filings, the press releases, looking for catalysts. If I can find anything in the last 30 days, that to me is a hot penny stock. Now, most of these stocks did not have catalysts, but that doesn't mean the stocks aren't going to run. There's a lot of people that play hot charts simply for technicals, and I got 30 of them here, folks. Let me zoom in on this for you so that you can have this list. There you go. So those are all atypical breakout charts. Every single one of them is at the point of breaking out right now. I focused in on the stocks that had high volume, figuring they probably had some news or filings which would be catalysts, and that is where I found the stocks that we're going to look at. The other list I have here, this is a money-making strategy that I am employing right now. Let me tell you what's going on here. I just started trading over at Pennybois every day from bell to bell. I trade with the public. I could be trading with you. I've got a link down below. It says this is the link to Pennybois. Click that and come on in. You can trade with us. It's free. We're setting up trades to take gains right now. Well, while I've been doing this, I've noticed patterns on the market because I'm there every single day, the full 8 hours. I have been noticing that the biggest monster runners we've been having are stocks between $2 and $4 on the major exchange. These stocks will run 100%, 400%, 800%, 1600%, 2,600% in a day. But it's not the stocks I'm interested in, though that is good money, no doubt about that. No, I am looking at warrants attached to these companies. Real briefly, a warrant is a penny stock that is attached to the company. The warrant is basically a promissory note, easier to think of as a coupon. Now, it is a stock. You can just get in today, buy it, sell it today, make your money. You can trade it like any other stock, but it has extra benefits to it. If you hang on to a warrant, they can be traded in for a share of stock at a guaranteed super low price. Let's say the stock is 90 cents right now, and you have warrants on it, and the warrants go live at $1. Well, as soon as the price hits $1, your warrants are active, and they give you the right to buy a share of stock at $1.25. Well, the price is $1. Why would you buy a share for $1.25? You wouldn't, of course. But the warrants are good for 3 to 5 years. So 4 years down the road, the stock could be $30. You take $1.25 in a warrant, you get yourself a $30 share. Actually, you don't get the share. They just put the money into your account. So it'd be $30 minus $1.25 that you made profit. How many warrants do you have? You can make some serious profits off of warrants, and that's the appeal to them. So when the stocks start running 200, 800, 1,600%, the warrants go nuts. The warrants are normally 8 to 10% of the price of the stock. So if a stock is $1, the warrant is usually 8 to 10 cents. Well, right now, there's a lot of these warrants that are down at 1 penny and 2 cents. That should be higher. And beyond that, when these stocks start running, the warrants run faster and harder on less volume. You can find a warrant at 2 cents. The stock's at $1, $1.50, $2. The stock goes to $10 that day because it was a hot stock. Your 2 cent warrant could be up at 30 cents, 50 cents. Do you know how much money you just made? You can buy 1,000 shares of a warrant at 2 cents for only $20. And if it jumps to 10 cents, you just made yourself $80 profit off of that $20 investment. Now, the one thing I got to tell you about this, if you do invest into warrants and you're trading them quick, you're getting in and out, you may get in at 2 cents. You need to watch your ask and your bid very, very closely. Let's say you get in, it's 2 cents. You look at your ask and your bid. Bid is 2 cents. Ask is, what? 10 cents? 500% up? Yeah, that's pretty normal. There's not a lot of liquidity normally on warrants until they get hot. Then you get your liquidity and that gap closes up. But initially, it is a big gap. So you're down here at 2 cents and you're thinking, it is never going to jump to 10 cents. It's going to have to whittle its way down. That's not the way it works. Somebody will buy 20 shares at 10 cents a piece. It's not a big investment, so they don't care that they jumped 500% over the bid. So boom, it goes to 10 cents and you're excited. You just made 500% gain, so you're going to sell it. Boom, you sell it and you got the exact same money that you paid for it. Why? Because the bid didn't change. The very first price change does not change the bid. It still says 2 cents on the bid and 10 cents on the ask. The price changed, but nothing else did. It's going to take another bid or two to get the price to change. And it probably won't be 10 cents. It'll be somewhere in the middle, 5 cents, 6 cents, somewhere in there, which is still good gains. But my point is, don't just sell impulsively. Make sure your ask and your bid have changed and you're getting this price you think you're getting. So, let me enlarge this for you so that you can see all the tickers. What I have done is I have gone out, I did a search for stocks, warrants under a nickel. I do have a couple in there at 6 cents, 7 cents, but most of them around a nickel. But I'm primarily looking for the ones at 1 penny, 2 cents, 3 cents. So I have all the warrants here. That is a warrant at 2 cents, 2.6. There's the company. What? 59 cents? I'm not interested in this warrant. But I've got it on my watch list because ABVE could get up to $2 to $4, and all of a sudden her warrant gets hot. I've already done my homework. I'm just sitting here waiting for that to kick into gear. Another warrant could be ADNWW. She's at just under 2 cents. Her stock currently, whoa, look at that, folks, $7. Folks, this should be up near 56 cents to 70 cents. It should be. For a little bit of investment on stocks that are catching heat, getting lots of volume, that are climbing on the boards, you can get into those and catch yourself a very strong gain in a short amount of time. Don't hang around with these warrants. Get in, get out, take your gains. All right, so let's go take a look at some hot stocks now. I told you that I had narrowed down these 30 stocks down to a few. We're going to take a closer look at 2 of them, but I'm going to actually mention 4 of them. First one we're going to start off with had a lot of volume. She was up at the top of the list. This is ticker BTM Bitcoin Depot. And as you can imagine, if you're affiliated with anything with Bitcoin, you're probably hot right now. Once Bitcoin went over $100,000, everybody started taking her very, very seriously. Trump's coming into office. Looks like he's pro-crypto. He's put his own meme coin on the market, so I can't think he's going to do anything against Bitcoin. So I think we are looking at a lot of stocks that are going to be taking gains. BTM Bitcoin Depot. She is a U.S. company based out of Georgia. She finished today at almost $1.80, and she was up just a little over 9%. Now, this is a hot penny stock on a major exchange, which comes with benefits compared to the OTC penny stocks. First off, you never have to pay to buy your shares or sell your shares. Absolutely free on the major exchange, which means you could buy one share to try to bump the price up, then buy another share and another share, one at a time, just trying to bump the price up. You can't do that on the OTC. I get charged $6.99 for every OTC trade I do. I'd go broke trying that strategy. There's also a lot more money and a lot more volume up on the major exchange, and as traders, that's what we're looking for. There's a lot more rules up on the major exchange, which is good for us. I've lost most of my money on the OTC because there's not enough oversight down there. I would rather have too much oversight on the companies than not enough. And last but not least, you can trade these major exchange stocks after market and pre-market. Some of the biggest gains you will ever see, some of the biggest bounces are in those periods of time because there are no halts for volatility. There's nobody there to stop it from going crazy. So we see some huge runs on these major exchange penny stocks. You never see that on an OTC. So what is Bitcoin Depot about? Well, they tell us over here at their website that they sell Bitcoin. That's what they do. They don't buy it. You can't sell it to them, but they will sell you Bitcoin without having to go to a cryptocurrency broker online. Now, I don't know why you'd want to avoid that, but for whatever reason. Now, they have multiple ways that you can buy Bitcoin. Their most prominent way is through their ATMs. You can buy Bitcoin and top up your wallet through an ATM. Just keep feeding it your money, and it'll give you Bitcoin that you can put onto your wallet. You can also use their BD checkout. BD checkout is using brick and mortar establishments. They've got 7,700 of them. The way it works is you actually place your order on your mobile device, and it brings up a QR code. Then you go to one of the BD checkout locations. You don't even have to tell them what you're buying or paying for. They just scan it, and you take care of it right there. You can also buy it online right here at this site. You tell them how much Bitcoin you want, and you can pay for it with your Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. How about that? You don't have to go through any of this rigmarole of moving money from your bank over to your crypto broker, none of that stuff. You can get it here anytime you want from a total of about 15,000 different places. They've got a map here to show you their locations. Now, when we look at their financials, you're going to see that they have a lot of liabilities, a lot of money that they're spending, a lot of deficit that we, the investors, are holding. And I think it's all those yellow dots right there. They have to pay for these ATM machines, but that's like the only thing they got to pay for. They're selling Bitcoin. They don't have to mail the Bitcoins. They don't make the Bitcoins. They don't warehouse the Bitcoins. I mean, what true expense is involved with Bitcoin? Unless you're making ATMs, and they got over 8,000 ATMs just in the U.S. alone. They are in Puerto Rico, Canada, and I think they're in Australia now. So what other information do I got here? Well, they're expanding. What can I tell you? They have now moved into a prominent store in Texas Panhandle and around that area. They've got 50 new ATMs that they have just put out. That's what they tell us right here. As the largest BTM operator in North America, Bitcoin Depot has built significant momentum in the last year, marked by record-breaking industry highs and key company milestones such as expanding its BD checkout program to 6 new states and extending its reach into Australia and Puerto Rico. In July of 2024, the company also has exceeded its goal of deploying over 8,000 Bitcoin ATMs 5 months ahead of schedule. Taking a look at the relative volume for BTM today, she did about 3 times her normal volume, going from about 437,000 shares to 1.2 million shares on Friday. Share structure for BTM. Oh, that's not bad. Outstanding share count, 18 million. I don't know what the insiders own. I'm sure they own something. It's Bitcoin. Everybody wants a piece of that. Subtract all the shares that they own, and that's going to tell us our float. But whatever our float is, it isn't going to be any higher than 18 million. And 18 million isn't a bad float. So I'm real happy with that. Market cap for the company, we're currently at about 32 million. Jumping into the financials for BTM, remember, we've got to add 3 zeros to any of the numbers on these charts. So we're looking at millions of dollars here for revenues over the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023, where they're doing between $650 and $700 million every year. But they're giving away most of it. This $650 million they did in 2022 cost them $575 million. They only got to keep $72 million, but they are in the black. Taking a look at the quarterlies, the revenues are real strong here as well. They're jumping from roughly $130 million to $180 million every 3 months, and they are bringing home profit every single quarter, about $20 to $25 million. It just isn't a lot of profit for as much as they're bringing in. Taking a look at the balance sheet, remembering those 3 zeros here too. We've got about $32 million in the bank, cash and cash equivalents. Total assets, we're at about $87 million. Total liabilities are up at $104 million. So we are holding stockholder deficit in this company of $17 million. Even though this company is making hundreds of millions of dollars every year and they are pulling in profit every single quarter, we're not getting any of it. We are holding $17 million in deficit. And taking a look at the disclosures. Yeah, we do have a few disclosures over here, and I did go through them. These Form 4s, these are filed whenever the insiders acquire or dispose of the same stock that you and I buy. Now, they can do that in a lot of different ways. We're only interested when they buy them or sell them, when money's involved. Neither one of these are that, so we don't have to concern ourselves there. And these 8Ks didn't have anything I thought was relative to share either. So we really don't have any filings to look at. So the company's got a lot going on for it because Bitcoin is growing right now. It's getting a lot of respect. People are putting money into it, and maybe they don't want to do it through a crypto broker, so they're doing it in these other ways. Now, I think the company's got some financial difficulties, but the great thing is we're not investing. We're talking about this stock running because she is set up right now. We're going to get in, take our gains, and get out. Right? You bet. All right, let's go take a look at that chart. God, am I glad to be back at Thinkorswim. This is where I enjoy doing my DD. I like looking for hot charts, folks. I spend a lot of time looking for that setup right there. As a matter of fact, I told you yesterday I went through tens of thousands of stocks. I did a search and narrowed it down to 2,000. Those 2,000 I visually looked at every single chart, and I narrowed that down to 30 charts that all had an atypical breakout chart. My favorite bullish pattern by a mile. As far as I'm concerned, this breaks out 7, 8 out of 10 times every time I see it. So I am constantly looking for that pattern right there you see on the screen. And it's a very easy pattern to see. So when I'm scrolling through charts, that jumps out at me. I don't have to work at seeing that. So what you've got is your 200-day MA falling fiercely with everything else underneath it falling fiercely. When things start to curve up and level off, this is when you have your breakout potential. The weight of the 200 gets off of the price's back and it can start to climb. When you see the 200-day MA starting to level off, the price on the 50 or moving away from the 50 towards the 200, and underneath it all being supported by a rising 200 haul. As you can see, it just started to come up. And when did she start to launch? Just as it ignited right there. So this is a hot chart. And every single one of these are atypical breakout charts. You see how easy these are to see, folks? So let's take a look now at ticker BTM. We'll get rid of our list. We are looking at a 6-month, 4-hour view as I found her because she was in an atypical breakout. Keeping this big run here, we had a jump back here at the beginning of November. She was at $1.50 and she ran up to $3.52. So you're looking at like 150% run right there, and I have no idea why. She came all the way back down, almost to the 200, rode back up, finally hit the 200, hung on that for a while, fell under it. Once she passed through all of the MAs here and got up on top of the 50, here we go, right? Our falling 200. She gets on top of the 50. Here's our 200 haul. Once it turned blue, our bars got big. She's starting to make a move. She is breaking out right now. Volume was strong on Friday. Look at all the previous days before. Our PPO, percentage price oscillator, it is climbing. PPO is just like your MACD. It too is climbing right now. The difference between the two, the MACD uses the full price and the percentage price oscillator, uses a percentage of the price. And our RSI is currently dipping just a little bit, but is still up in the hot zone at 62. Jumping down to our 20-day 1-hour view. So she was in a downtrend here. All of our MAs are on top like a waterfall, pushing down. You can't expect any climbing on the price normally until these MAs get up underneath. They cross the price here. They get up underneath. Once our 200 haul turned blue, the price started to push towards the 200. She's come back down. She hit a low bubble, bounced straight to the 200, and now she is just getting volatile. You can tell she does not want to fall. Once she hit that low bubble and hit her head, she's just bouncing around here trying to break out. Now that she's broke out like a dog out of its pen, I think it's ready to run. This thing is showing a lot of heat. Our oscillators, our PPO is cooling off somewhat. Our ADX is nice. We have got the green bar, this line here up at the top. Whichever one is at the top, the red or the green, that is the trend that is on the board. So we have an uptrend on the board. The yellow line tells you how strong that trend is. The lower it is, the weaker. The higher, the stronger. Well, it only goes to 100%, and we're at 100%. So this says we've got an uptrend. Wow, it looks like it's falling right now. It's telling me that on the hourly weighing, this is on an uptrend still. Our MACD does have a negative crossover. I can see that. But our RSI has just leveled off. It quit falling and is leveled off. Let's come down to our 5-day, 15-minute. Make our chart a little bit bigger. We are on an uptrend, aren't we? That's an uptrend. We're going from $1.44 to $1.93 over the last 5 days, crossing over that 200-day MA, not with a lot of volatility, just bouncing off of that 50-day. Then she graduated. She got up here. She's bouncing on the 20. Now she's floating on the 9-day. She's come down. She's hit the 20. She's hit the 200. She's probably going to come down and hit that 50. I don't presume she's going to come down to the 200. She doesn't show any likeliness for that. I think she's going to follow suit and just continue climbing right now, bouncing off of that 50. Oscillators say she's weak right now. The aftermarket period has been pulling everything down. But overall, Bitcoin is hot. They are getting them out there so everybody can find them. They're getting into multiple countries now, so there is expansion on the business. Still, I think they do better, though I haven't jumped into their financials. They'll tell you where they get most of their money, from the BD checkout, from online sales, or from their ATMs. If they're getting it from the ATMs, then I guess you got to take the bad with the good. But if they're not, get rid of them bloody things. That's got to be the expense. Just has to be. So let's take a look now at a couple other stocks that were on that list that I was just sharing with you. Now, we're not going to look at the chart for this one. You can check it out. I just wanted to touch base on it. This is GLE, Global Engine Group Holdings. Finished today at $1.75. She was up over 15% today. She's on the NASDAQ. She had news come out December 30th. Now, that's a little bit old. But as I said, when you have an atypical breakout chart, one that looks like it's on the launch pad, ready to take off, any extra fuel on that fire makes it burn brighter. And as long as the news still has play, I'll go back 30 days and I will look for a catalyst. So I found this. This came out December 30th. Global Engine Group Holdings Limited acquires 22.5% stake in Corporate Tech Holdings, a Hong Kong data center operator. The Hong Kong data center market is poised for significant growth, with total market capacity projected to increase by 0.95 thousand MW in 2024 to 1.78 thousand MW by 2029. GLE is excited to be a market player during this transformation. Most people really don't understand the value of information today. Maybe you have a game or you're a gambling site or something like that, and they do get some information on their users. Well, they make about this much money selling their products. They make about this much money selling that data of ours. So data is more money than products. Products are just a way to get your hands on more and more data. So GLE, you may want to consider. She has a catalyst. She has a hot chart right now. Another one we're just tagging on to, Clips, ticker CLPS. This is Clips Incorporation. She finished today at $1.21. She was up a little over 6%. Another hot penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ. She had news December 19th. Clips Incorporation announced its filing of registration statement for proposed initial public offering of Jiaji Global Incorporation. Jiaji specializes in providing information technology services to automotive and security industries. With advanced technology and strong market position, Jiaji has achieved significant industry accomplishments. In addition to IT and business management consulting services, as well as customized IT solutions, Jiaji has developed a range of proprietary IT products. According to the F1, Jiaji currently has a total share capital of 10 million shares, of which Clips holds 60%, which means there's only 4 million left. The funds raised from this IPO, initial public offering, will primarily be used for product development, mergers and acquisitions, global expansion, and company operations to drive Jiaji's sustained growth. Bottom line here, Clips is spinning out a company, Jiaji. They're spinning it out onto the NASDAQ. It is going to be a low float stock. There are only 10 million shares, right? Clips owns 60%. That leaves 40%, 4 million. I don't know if anybody else has any shares, but it's going to be a low float. Now, do I think this is going to affect Clips? I honestly don't think it should. It is their company, but I think more people are going to be focused on Jiaji than they are Clips. So when is this IPO supposed to happen? They did not tell us. We are still waiting for that piece of news to come out here. Now, just a little information about Clips before I leave here. Headquartered in Hong Kong, Clips Incorporation is a leading global information technology consulting and solution service provider, primarily focused on servicing global institutions in the banking, wealth management, e-commerce, and automotive sectors. Through its diversified offerings, Clips is committed to providing comprehensive services and solutions for its clients. The company maintains 19 delivery or research and development centers to serve customers in various geographic locations, including mainland China centers. And the remaining 9 global centers are located in Hong Kong, SAR, USA, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, India, Philippines, Canada, and the United Arab Emirates. So they are out there. Now, the last stock I want to share with you today is BABYF. I shared the chart with you. It was a perfect atypical breakout chart that looks like Houston is launching right now. Now's the time to be recording. BABYF, Else Nutrition. This is a company based out of Israel. She finished today at 2.3 cents and she was up 35%. Now, the bad news here, this is a pink on the OTC. The OTC has 3 tier levels. Each one is based on risk level. The QX is the best on the OTC, as close as you get to the major exchange, the most trustworthy. The QB is the middle tier. We call it the better tier because it's better than the pinks. You have to start auditing your financials there. You've got a minimum bid requirement of 1 penny. Can't go under a penny. Pinks, they've got no requirements. There is no validated information down here. Even the disclosures in most cases don't get audited. They're just tallied up numbers given to us. The bottom line with most pink companies is you've got to trust the management's word. When a news press comes out with a hot piece of news, you take it with a grain of salt. If you can get in and get out real quick with the gain, great. But don't be leaving your money in a pink for a long period of time. And when I say long, I mean 3 to 6 months. That's a long period of time for hot news. Normally, you'll end up holding a bag because a lot of the news just falls through and just doesn't happen the way they say it was going to happen. So over here, using the OTC Markets website, I do get as much validated information as they can gather on these pinks. Anything green is validated information. Company's verified profile, excellent. Transfer agent verified, excellent. This 12G3 to be certified, this is extra criteria they have to meet for being a foreign company, being in Israel. They've met that criteria. They're in good shape there. And they've got independent directors, which you don't need for pinks. What you need independent directors for is when you're uplisting to a higher tier. If you're going to the QX or you're going to the NASDAQ, you must have independent directors. And when you list them over here, it means you're serious about uplisting. You're doing something about it. It's not like putting it into a news press just to hype up your investors. When you see it here, it means they're actually doing something about it. So what is Else Nutrition about? Else Nutrition is a food nutrition company focused on research, development, manufacturing, marketing, sale, and or license of a patented, innovative, plant-based, non-dairy, non-soy food nutrition products. They primarily sell non-dairy, non-soy products to babies, infants, children, toddlers, kids, however many ways I can say it. The wee people in our community, they get these products that have nothing to do with dairy. And they are selling them in a lot of different places. Now, I think it was back at the end of COVID, we were having a problem getting enough dairy products. And that's when this company exploded. Because there wasn't enough dairy, and babies are our primary concern in most countries, this company got a lot of attention. So what information have I got to share with you here? Well, it looks like I've lost my highlights here, but let's see if I can remember. I am diving into Else Nutrition's Q3 2024 earnings call highlights. It's the most recent important information that I can find. Else Nutrition Holdings reported a 5% year-over-year revenue growth for Q3 2024, reaching $1.8 million. Else Nutrition Holdings has implemented cost-cutting measures, resulting in 12% decrease in operational expense year to date. They're trying to save money right now. Now, here's the reasons why. Revenue declined sequentially, that means quarter behind each quarter, due to timing delays in orders from key large retail partners. so they didn't get their orders from big buyers as they were expected. Limited marketing budgets have restricted the company's ability to generate consumer demand and brand awareness. They don't have enough money to advertise. People don't know they're out there, so they need money just to advertise. This is important. The company's gross profit for Q3 2024 was negative, mainly due to conservative inventory write-offs. I guess there's a shelf life on these products, folks, and maybe when orders are not getting through, they aren't taking them, these things go bad, and they have to throw them away. And I mean, that's a lot of money. Not only did you not sell it, but it costs money to make it, and now you're just throwing it away. That's what they said, write-offs here. Else Nutrition's Holdings is facing challenges with FDA approval process, which remain uncertain and costly. The company is still working towards achieving profitability with a break-even target set at the end of 2026. The last thing I've got to share with you is coming out of their most recent financial. The company holds a registered Else trademark in 64 countries. I'm not going to read all 64 of them. 27 of those countries are in Europe. Some of the countries are Cuba, which I found interesting, the Ukraine, and of course, the United States. The company's full range of products are now available through the Navy Exchange Service called Nexcom. This is a retail store that is on every single Navy base and on every single Navy vessel. I know. I was in the Navy for 4 years, between 17 years old and 21 years old. They are also on Walmart Canada. Their products are available, as well as Bristol Farms, a Southern California grocery store, is now carrying the company's ready-to-drink kids shakes. So you can see the company is out there. They've got room to grow. They need money to get their marketing campaign out there. People need to know they have choices. You don't have to give your kids the dairy products. Maybe you don't want dairy products. Maybe you want to be prepared for the next problem we have with dairy products, whatever it may be. So let's take a look now at the relative volume for BABYF. BABYF, that's not relative volume, neither is that. He's swinging his bat and he's hitting air. Over the last 30 days, we've been doing about 886,000 shares on the OTC. Today, or Friday to say, we did about 1.7 million shares. Over double what she normally does. Share structure for BABYF. We are at about 250 million shares. No clue what the insiders own, so I don't know what the float is. It could be as high as 250 million shares, or it could be considerably less, depending how many shares the insiders own. Market cap is way down there. Even with all those shares, we are still under $6 million for our market cap. Financials for Baby. Total revenues. Okay, over the last 4 years, they've been growing. That's nice to see. Back in 2020, we were at 1.1 million, jumped to 3.7, then kicked it up to 6.2, and now we're at almost 7.1 million. But what the heck is going on here? We are now making more money than we've ever made. Profit was growing all the previous years, getting bigger and bigger, and now we've lost all of our profit and we're in the red? I'm not quite sure why that is. Taking a look at their most recent quarterly reports. Wow. So a year ago, that's when we saw the first loss. They were losing, started to make profits, and now we're losing again. And they are making revenue steady. They're doing between 1.3 million and 2 million. And they're not making any profit. I'm not sure what the problem here is, folks. Some more due diligence is necessary. We got any disclosures to concern ourselves with here? We have no filings. As I said, you get very little validated information with Pinks. And we only get disclosures. Disclosures have not been looked at by a CPA. These are just numbers that the management has tallied up and given to us. But if you want to hear their opinions of what they've got to say, This is the management's discussions, and you can just jump in here and get the information without having to actually read the disclosures. All right, let's go take a look now at BABYF on the charts. That's a chart to dream of, folks. That is the perfect atypical breakout chart. This is what I am looking for when I'm scanning charts. She has been in a downtrend for a very, very long time. She was up here at 22 cents 6 months ago, hit that low of 007 at the end of December. Once the 200 got even close, we finally seen some life in the price. She crouched down to make a jump up. Hello, hello, I'm here. Fell back down. As the 200 got closer and closer, the price held on to her 50. Once our 200 haul turned blue and started to turn up, the price ignited. We got 3 huge green bars breaking through the 200, floating on our 9-day. The breakout is happening right now. We got volume in the picture. Our PPO is climbing. Our ADX is super strong. Our green uptrend line is at the top of the graph where we want it. Our yellow line, which tells us how strong the trend is up at the top where we want it. Our MACD is climbing with lots of green bars, each getting bigger and bigger. And our RSI is in the overbought right now. That is at 72.3. That is a very hot 4-hour chart. Taking a look at our 1-hour chart, she's off and running, folks. We got a low bubble back here 20 days ago of 007. She took a run off of that low bubble, breaking the 200, getting up here to 2.5 cents, back down to the 200 haul that she totally respected. Look at that, folks. She is sitting on that like that is her floor. And once she got up here on top of everything, boom, she ignited and took off, ending the day on a high bubble. We got volume in the picture here for the last couple of days. Our PPO is climbing up hard and furious. We just had a crossover on our ADX. Our green is bounced. Oh, it's bounced. That's what we got there. But it is going back up right now. Our MACD is very strong, still climbing. We've got a little bit of pullback on the green bar on a high bubble. And our RSI has been hot all day. She has been in the overbought the entire day on our hourly chart. 5-day, 15-minute. Now our low is just over a penny 5 days ago. We've got our high of 2.6 cents roughly there. So you've got 160% gains in your pocket in the last 5 days. She is starting to pull away and jumped immediately off of all of the MAs just to the 9-day. That's as light as the price can be. She doesn't need the 20 for any support. She's not bouncing off of the 50. She is floating on that 9. We had a little peg leg come down here. Thought she was going to touch, but she didn't. She is floating on her 9, even with the red bars, still on her 9, hit a high, came down, never broke it. Folks, I think she's going to continue to climb. My PPO, it's a little plancid. It's going perfectly flat right now. We're ranging here on our ADX. Ranging means just going sideways, not a whole lot of activity. Matter of fact, everything is ranging right now. But I see here, without a doubt, we are in an uptrend. Right? There is no doubt there that we are in an uptrend. So I am liking BABYF as well. Now I've given you 30 different stocks that are all in atypical breakouts. All of them are hot. You can add those to your watch list. Any of them start to get volume. Look at them, folks. We're only going to be in these for the run. Take your gains, get out, go to the next atypical. Jump in as it runs, take your gains, get out, go to the next one. And don't forget my money-making opportunity play using warrants. Stocks between $2 and $4 on the major exchange have been monster runners, getting lots of volume, doing hundreds of % gains in a day, letting their warrants do thousands of % gains. That's worth some due diligence as well, folks. I hope I've shared some good information with you today. My first hybrid video. Ha ha ha. Getting with the times, ain't I? Yes, I am. Thanks for your time, folks. I do appreciate it. Remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.